as well as for our future reference and just folks who want to come back and view it later on. So if folks could please stay muted while the speaker has the floor. And if we do get into comments or something like that later on, we will let folks know when to raise their digital hand or when to just go ahead and tap in and share out. So we see we got Kat coming in from Chatsworth. Hey Kat, always good to see you. And Stephanie, one of our board members on the call. We got Megan, Tarzana. We see Jennifer from Willowbrook. Okay, Willowbrook. I actually grew up on 121st and Compton Avenue, so I know the district. Also want to shout out David, who's in the building, David Cruz, Sade from South Central, Miss Betty. Hey, Miss Betty, it's been a minute. Good to see you. Sophia, Johnny Yee, Rosie, Tim from Whittier, Alex is on there. Okay, Alex, Stephanie, Maria, and Ruben. So happy to see everybody here tonight. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and roll us over into our member announcements for the month of August. So first we wanna, I'm sorry, let me just review first. First, we're gonna get into some welcomes and introductions, which we already did. We're gonna go into our member announcements. Then we'll have a brief committee update. We're gonna go into some IJ Action org updates, our main program, and we'll get into our main program, which is the open candidate forum. So we're gonna hear from about 11 candidates tonight who are running for statewide office. And that should be a great conversation. So I'm happy to be a witness to that. And as we move on into our member updates for the month of August membership updates. Next slide, please. So we want to take a time to shout out our new members for the month of August. So Mary Cruz R, Stephen P, Valerie C, Amy S, and Oka B are all new members to IJ Action. Welcome to the team. Thank you all for choosing membership as we continue to grow and continue to organize within these spaces. It's so good to have folks choose membership. And we also want to take time to spotlight our members who have completed new member orientation. So Amy S and Stephen P completed new member orientation. They're on the road to active membership, which is something that we try to get all folks to take on. And so with the next slide, we'll talk about the two forms of membership that we have here at IJ Action. So at IJ Action, our membership structure goes as follows. On the right-hand side, we have our supportive members, and supportive members are folks who have completed their membership application and paid member annual dues, and they participate in meetings and support committees whenever possible. On the left side, we have our active members, and active membership is what we hope that folks choose. And active members are folks who completed their membership application, they paid their annual dues, they complete new member orientation, they commit to attending monthly general meetings, they sign up for at least one action committee, and also sign our membership pledge. So of course, the two differences is capacity. As we know, a lot of us are in school, raising families, jobs, and things like that. So if you had a capacity, we hope that you choose active membership. If you don't have a capacity, but you want to support the work and be in these amazing organizing and transformative spaces, we ask that you select a supportive membership and just be here. So with that, we'll drop the link in the chat for folks to fill out their membership application if you're on the call and you're not a member. So we will drop that link in the chat for you all here soon. As we go on to our next slide. And so with that, we're going to take some time to get into our August org updates. And so for August org updates, one of the main ones is our community meetups. So as your members know, you received the email from me earlier this week, in which I attached a response form. That link will be dropped in the chat here shortly. And with that response form, what we need, as we're planning to host regional community meetings, our meetups for IJ Action members, supporters, and allies, to create spaces for folks to get to know one another and also plan our work. If you're interested in attending these community meetups, we ask that you please respond to that form so that way we can know how what these community meetups will look like. So in San Diego, for instance, members down there may opt for a community picnic at a local park, and that would be a great option members in the Los Angeles area may select a basketball game or something like that, or different forms of community. Some members may want to go to a museum or something that's meaningful within their area. Whichever it is, we just ask that folks please fill out that form so your voice can be heard and we could plan these meetings. On to our next update. And also we want to take the time and spotlight a couple of members. Andy, Medea, and Vanessa are absolute rock stars who attended and tabled at the San Diego PAC meeting. They engaged about 20 recently returning community members and talked about our transformative work as well as the power of voting. So we want to thank you all. We want to take a moment to shine a light on y'all and let y'all know that this work is meaningful and that any member here in attendance or any member can also do this type of outreach, and we encourage folks to do this type of outreach. If you know of some outreach opportunities within your area, especially ones involving folks who are impacted by incarceration, please let us know, me in particular, jay@ijaction.org, and I will get you set up with training or whatever tools or resources that you need in order to follow through with this with these types of outreach. So please take a time to give a hand clap for Andy, Medea, and Vanessa. Also want to take the time just to shout out the fact that Medea took time off work, which is amazing, and that Vanessa, who was one of our new members within the last couple of months, actually set up the connection with the parole agent. So thank you so much, and we all have this power within us. And so with that, we're going to keep going along here and roll right over into our committee updates. And since I am the chair of the Membership and Outreach Committee, I will give the Membership and Outreach Committee update. Next slide, please. So the Membership Outreach Committee is responsible for community organizing, outreach, training, and recruiting new members to IJ Action. Our updates for this month is where the committee is focused on recruiting new members, of course, as always, hosting monthly member training, which we have a great one coming up this month, planning the upcoming community meetups, and our civic engagement presentations. If you're interested in being a part of this work, our next meeting is September 19th, 2023, which is next Tuesday from same time slot from 6:30 to 7:30. And if you haven't been receiving my emails, you can email me, jay@ijaction, and I'll be sure to get you tapped in with the Membership and Outreach Committee. And with that, I'll pass it over to my colleague, Shervin.
Okay, I think you mean August, not September, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, August. Yeah, August. Sorry, yeah, typo. So August 19th, 2023, which is next Tuesday. And with that, I'll pass it over to Big.
Wait, is it next Tuesday? I'm sorry, I don't think the 19th is.
No, it's not. It's not the 19th. I made a mistake on that date.
Let's make sure folks get the right date.
So it's the 15th. It will be the 15th, which is the third Tuesday of the month, from 6:30 to 7:30. And I'll be working remotely in LA as we will be doing presentations. So with that, I'll pass it over to Shervin for the communications and fundraising update.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. So yeah, the Communications and Fundraising Committee, we meet on the first Thursday of each month at 6:30, as we just had our August meeting last week. And our next meeting will be the first Thursday of September, which is September 7th. Our big action item right now is we're going to be launching our IJ Action store with our merch here very soon. And our fearless comms leader, Emiliano, has worked through some design ideas. And so we're looking for feedback from you all on those ideas and also putting together a mood board. So basically different memes, GIFs, inspirational quotes, anything that you all find really powerful and inspiring. There's a link for committee members to drop in those images, and those will help inform our creative work to design more amazing merchandise to be able to reach wider and wider audiences. So we'd love you all to join us. Again, that's the first Thursday of each month. And our next meeting will be September 7th.
Thanks, Shervin, for that powerful update. Yes, yeah, so if you want to get into some action items for communications and fundraising, we ask that you please sign up and respond to those forms so that way you could be a part of ideas for branding, setting up the stores, and other long-lasting action items. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to our wonderful leader and executive director, Taina Vargas, to take on the next portion of tonight's program.
Yes, thank you, Jay. Good evening, everybody. So excited to see all the folks who came through this evening. Lots of new members, lots of members who have been around for a while. Lots of folks who I hope will become members. So again, thank you all so much. So this is our first open candidate forum. So we're hoping that y'all enjoy it. We're so grateful to all of the candidates who showed up this evening. And I want to open us up just by talking a little bit about IJ Action as an organization and the purpose of what it is that we're doing tonight. So for folks who are not as familiar with Initiate Justice Action, we are a 501c4 nonprofit abolitionist organization that aims to end incarceration in California by mobilizing the political power of the people who are directly impacted by it. So our board members and staff and membership is mostly made up of people who are either formerly incarcerated or have incarcerated loved ones. We are an offshoot of our 501c3 Initiate Justice, which has a membership of more than 45,000 currently incarcerated people. So we have been doing this work for the last almost 7 years now around changing policy by putting the power in the hands of the people that it should be in, people in prison, formerly incarcerated people, and people with incarcerated loved ones. We started our C4 a couple of years ago with the aim of taking that advocacy to the next level. And part of that next level advocacy is getting much more deeply involved in the electoral process. So we're involved in the electoral process in a couple of different ways. Jay spoke briefly about the civic engagement workshop that we do. We engage with folks on parole to ensure that they register to vote now that their voting rights have been restored under Prop 17. We put together voter guides, which analyze the public safety platforms and voting records of candidates running for statewide office. We also do candidate endorsements. But that being said, this evening is not an endorsement meeting. We won't be doing our endorsements for the 2024 election until the general election next year. So we'll begin that process more likely in the spring, probably after the primary next year. But however, considering that the primary is coming up in March and we're not going to be doing endorsements before that, we did want to just create space for people who are running for state and local office, even though we don't do endorsements in local offices. We wanted to just open up space so that candidates who are running for those seats have the opportunity to just share with the community a little bit about themselves, their district, why they're running for the seat, and what their views are on public safety. So our forum this evening is not an endorsement. We're not endorsing any of the candidates or endorsing any of the statements that are being made here. We're simply creating space so that people who are running for office can have the opportunity to talk to our group of folks. So that being said, thank you very much to our candidates who showed up this evening. And this is the speaking order that we'll be going in. We will give each candidate 2 minutes to present to our group. And don't worry, I'll have a timer up so that you'll see how long you have left to speak. And we'll make sure to pin you so that while you're speaking, everybody in the audience can see you. But first, we're going to be hearing from Jennifer Trishelle Marie Williams, who's running for Senate District 35, Alex Mohajer, who's running for Senate District 37, Brian Calderon Tababai, sorry if I said that wrong, Assembly District 48, Genesis Coronado, Assembly District 52, John Yee, Assembly District 54, Greg Akili, Assembly District 57, Sade El-Hawari, Assembly District 57, Renee Romero, Assembly District 57, Dulce Vasquez, Assembly District 57. Man, if y'all live in Assembly District 57, you're gonna hear from everybody tonight. Constantine Anthony, who's running for LA County Board of Supervisors, District 5, and Jillian Burgos, who's running for Los Angeles City Council, District 2. So with that being said, this is the order that I am going to be calling folks in. So first, we'll be hearing from Miss Jennifer Trishelle Williams, and let me get my timer started. And Jennifer, are you ready to go? I can't see folks.
I am ready, yes.
All right, so if you're ready, as soon as you start, I will hit start.
Thank you so much for the invitation to share a bit about myself and the campaign. I'm Jennifer Trishelle Marie Williams. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm running for State Senate in District 35. I'm a wife, mother, LA County Commissioner, and KDEM delegate and a CPA with over a decade of public accounting experience. I'm also a founding fellow of the CEO Action for Racial Equity Fellowship, which focuses on improving the quality of life of Black Americans. Some of the work, some of the policies that the fellowship champions includes decriminalizing poverty and cash bail, fines and fees, and license suspensions, creating a framework to assess law enforcement accountability databases, and removing barriers to economic empowerment through fair chance hiring practices. I'm running to transform lives and renew a sense of love and collective responsibility in society, through transparency, equity, and accountability as being the core values. We love when we openly communicate with one another. That's transparency. We love when we seek to address specific needs with tailored solutions. That's equity. And we love when we hold ourselves to the commitments we make to one another. That's accountability. I believe the same elements that lead to a healthy community are the same elements that contribute to community safety. That's civic engagement, economic opportunities, housing and infrastructure, quality food and education, and healthcare, the social determinants of health. And that's why my 3 priority policy areas are economic development, environmental justice, and housing and infrastructure. I'm eager to use my data and finance expertise to advocate for community investments that we need. And I'm the candidate for the job because my family has experiences that reflect these needs. My brother, I'll end on my brother's testimony. He vandalized property with his friends in high school. The prosecution wanted to send him to jail, but he happened to have a Black judge that saw his potential. My brother went on to graduate from Grambling State University, got his master's, and is now an assistant principal in Houston. So I'm running to bring policies that make this the rule and not the exception. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Really appreciate hearing from you. If folks want to give, little digital claps for her, show some love in the chat. But thank you so much for sharing. And something that I should ask of folks, if you don't mind saying a little bit about where your district is, and I apologize that I didn't ask you for that, Jennifer. So if you want to share quickly where Senate District 35 is, please feel free to do that.
Sure. Senate District 35 includes LAX, Compton, Carson, Watts, Inglewood, goes all the way down to San Pedro, Wilmington, Harbor Gateway, and unincorporated communities also.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, next, I am very happy to welcome Alex Mohajer, who's running for Senate District 37.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Alex Mohajer, and I'm running for California State Senate in the
so
30.
I don't feel like that's something I have to do. Like if I go and plan, I'm like, I don't need a.
Sorry, folks, please go on mute. I'll reset your time. Folks, please mute yourselves.
Reclaiming my time. Just kidding. Thank you. So just let me, okay, so I'm Alex Mohajer. I'm running for California State Senate in the 37th Senate District, representing my hometown of Irvine, California, and some of the neighboring cities in Orange County. I'm the son of Iranian immigrants. My mom came here from Iran, a single mom of 4, speaking barely any English and working multiple jobs, taking the bus and going to school at night just to put food on the table for her 4 kids and to make sure we had access to public schools. And I started working at 12, a paper route for the Irvine World News, because it was an extra $12 a week for our family. We grew up on food stamps, and eventually my mom got a good union job working as a children's social worker, which she worked for 25 years because the terms of her MOU allowed for her to get paid time and a half for nights and weekends. And that was also that we could go to good public schools. As I grew up, I came to see that my activism was required, and I became president of the Stonewall Democrats in 2021. And our namesake at Stonewall was born from a riot in response to oppressive surveillance police state. And more than 50 years later, that problem still persists. And the problems that face our communities they're intersectional. So I'm fighting for economic policies that lift up working class families and immigrant families. I want to make sure that every Californian has access to quality healthcare and mental health resources, so our loved ones get the care they need when they need it, and that we don't leave behind our vulnerable communities. And I want to make sure that we take bold climate change action and center climate and environmental justice, looking at the communities that are most impacted by the brunt of bad climate policy. I've taken a pledge to accept no corporate PAC money, no fossil fuels money, no police association money, and no corporate healthcare money, so I can be free to advocate for real solutions for our communities. And I'm sure with your support that we can get some real progressive candidates elected down just a hop, skip, and a jump down the way in Orange County. And I hope to earn your support. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, folks. Please show a little bit of love, and apologies for pronouncing your last name wrong. I have a feeling I'm gonna be saying that a couple times this evening. People say my name wrong all the time and I hate it. So I'm gonna do my best to say everybody's name correctly, and please do correct me. All right, so next up, I want to welcome Brian Calderon Tabatabai, who's going to be running for Assembly District 48. And please correct me also if I mispronounced your name.
No, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Yes, my name is Brian Calderon Tabatabai, and I am running for Assembly District 48 in the East San Gabriel Valley. I'm an ethnic studies teacher. For over 20 years, I fought to get ethnic studies in my district. We helped write the curriculum, and it really is an important space for us. During the pandemic was the first year of teaching ethnic studies, and while I was teaching in El Monte, my students were dying. They were working as essential workers. They were living in high density. We were getting notified of grandparents passing away. And I realized, as a teacher, you think you're doing enough in the classroom. And I realized I needed to do more. And so at that time, the West Covina PD had been sharing racist booking images online. So I fought to end that practice with a group of high school students. I was able to get elected. During that time, we witnessed the murder of George Floyd, and it just brought back all those memories. My first year at UCLA, working at Reber Hall, walking to my car, being handcuffed, being put on a curb, being asked, why am I doing there, right? And just all of those things coming to me. And so since being elected, we've had some important votes in my area. George Gascon we had a vote of no confidence. I was the one vote in support, one vote that I made the argument on why we needed those directives, why we need things like zero bail, why we shouldn't be criminalizing poverty, because in reality, it's about keeping our families together. And anyone who's studied the issues knows that when you criminalize poverty, when you hold people in prison because they can't afford bail, you create that trauma that separates children, separates them from their parents. And that's why I'm running. And hopefully I can get all of your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and sharing with us. All very good information to know. And yes, please do drop your information, how folks can stay in touch in the chat. Next up, I am excited to welcome Genesis Coronado, who is running for Assembly District 52. Welcome, Genesis.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here this evening with all of you. My name is Genesis Coronado. I'm running for AD 52, and the district basically encompasses East LA, unincorporated East Los Angeles, the northeast communities of Los Angeles City, and the southern portion of Glendale. I'm a long-term resident of East Los Angeles, longtime resident renter here in Los Angeles County as well. I came to the US when I was about 7 years old, and have grown up, as a first-generation American, first-generation college student, and a current education advocate working for Los Angeles Unified. I grew up in the Maravilla projects, where I could consistently hear the sound of helicopters above, my home. And so growing up, I continuously saw that over-policing but underfunded of my communities. So I am really fighting for basic rights that my community deserves, such as secure housing, good paying jobs, quality public education, true political representation, healthcare, and community-centered livable communities. Recently, one of the main topics of mine has been the East LA deputy gang. So definitely running on to increase transparency and accountability in law enforcement agencies. How can we ensure that we don't have East LA deputy gangs further victimizing our communities? And that really starts with addressing the Peace Officer Bill of Rights at the state level and ending police associations, because not only do they focus on bargaining wages, but they're also focusing on disciplinary actions. That should be something that all law enforcement agencies should be accountable to statewide. And they spend millions of dollars lobbying state and local electeds, and that needs to stop. So I really hope I can count on your support. And if you have any questions, I will definitely drop my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, folks, please show a little love, give a little hand claps. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing about your race and the issues that are important to you. Next up, I'm excited to welcome John Yee, who is running for Assembly District 54.
Hi.
Oops. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Yee. I'm a candidate for 54. Just to give you an idea, it's from Koreatown to downtown to Boyle Heights to Montebello. I'm a resident of Koreatown myself. I'm a child of immigrants, and my background is in community organizing. Today, I am the executive director for a nonprofit called Los Angeles Walks. We are LA's pedestrian advocacy nonprofit. And if you really distill the pedestrian advocacy world to its core, it is merely to exist in public with safety and dignity. And so, as an organization, we co-sponsored the bill that repealed California's jaywalking law. We supported policies that protected Black bikers, especially because we know these two policies tend to penalize Black and Latino men the most. Public space is another thing that we're talking about. I publicly opposed LA Metro's renewal of its police contract. Over 7 years, LA Metro spent $1 billion on law enforcement, to the result of which has not really created safety at all on our system. And I think if you ride the bus or train, you can know that. And before this, I was actually an organizer for education, where I saw, in front of me, the school to prison pipeline and the importance of high quality education and communities where prison beds are literally counted based off of local school attendance. And from all this experience, I think what I have learned is that we are not fighting just the carceral system by itself, but the surrounding ecosystem that feeds into it. And it's not a coincidence that many of these issues in this ecosystem are the challenges that we see citywide, and also major issues that I'm running on my campaign. The high cost of housing and the wages that are unlivable in Los Angeles. The criminalization of the poor and homeless as a means of fixing and solving the problem. A broken immigration system. Korean Americans are the highest recipients of DACA when it comes to the US. And so things like the HOME Act would really protect them, especially prevent double jeopardy. People who pay their time and give their due are then picked up from ICE for deportation afterwards. The systematic deprivation of rights, access to voting and making sure we have polling stations and registration and counting jails. And so these are the kind of policies that I push for. And I think as a citywide that we need to start enveloping, as all of our issues. And so look forward to really engaging you sometime in the future, and I'll put my information in the chat. Hope to share more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Yeah, folks, show a little love for John. So next up, we have 4 candidates who are running for Assembly District 57, and we have them in alphabetical order by last name. So first up, I'm excited to welcome Mr. Greg Akili. Oh.
You need to unmute me. Am I unmuted? Thank you. My name's Keely, and I'm a candidate for the 57th Assembly District. And I grew up in this segregated society, the height of Jim Crow. I moved to California, made some bad choices, wound up in federal prison, but I was able to turn my life around, much like many of you have. And for the past 5 decades, I've been on the front lines fighting for social justice and human rights. And I'm proud of the work that I've done over the past 50 years. I decided I wanted to become a candidate because I wanted to take the history, the vision, and experience I have to fight for the change that I know that is needed. Currently, I'm an instructor at UCLA in the Labor Studies Department. I'm the National Field Coordinator for Black Lives Matter Grassroots. I'm the director of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, and I'm the project coordinator for corporate accountability. So I've got the experience, and my vision is very simple, that first, housing and healthcare have to be human rights. Secondly, we need more restorative justice programs. And then finally, we need good union jobs. And I want to fight for a workers' bill of rights. I have a simple vision that's based on the work that I've been doing. I have the experience and I have the results. And so I'm glad to come before you. And this group would have a special place for me, because one of the things that we would have for the first time, I think, in the history of the California State Assembly, is a formerly incarcerated person. I have an understanding, I have a sense of relationship, and I know what it takes for people to turn their lives around. And I would support policies, positions, and legislation that would do that. So thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to continuing to work with you and your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story and a little bit about your work as well. Folks, show some love to Mr. Greg Akili, please. All right, next up, I'm excited to welcome Ms. Sade El-Hawari, who is also a candidate for Assembly District 57.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sade El-Hawari. As Taina said, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here with you all, and really just want to share a little bit about my background. I know we said we wanted to share my assembly district that I'm running for, 57, really encompasses South Central, as well as Skid Row, downtown LA, and a bit of Watts. And so I was born and raised here in LA. I am the daughter of immigrants. My mom is from Guatemala, my dad is from Egypt. And as someone who is both Black and brown, being a community organizer and educator, I've always been about building coalitions, about really bringing folks together. For me, I think one of the biggest pieces that emboldened me around running for state assembly was what happened last year when we heard folks at the city council level and at the highest levels of our labor organizations really working to divide us, right? And really think about what it meant to, at that time, dismantle political power of one group in order to grow political power for another. And for me, that was so important for us to say, no, we cannot allow that to happen. I've spent so much of my career really building those coalitions, specifically at Community Coalition, an organization that's always been about dismantling the school to prison pipeline, about really pushing to ensure that we really invest in community organizations and services and resources for our folks who are coming back, re-entering society, formerly incarcerated folks, but even system impacted folks overall. As a foster mom in particular, the school to prison pipeline was really impacting my foster daughter. And I think being able to really understand what it's going to take for us to really change and transform our community in a real way is really important to me. And I know I could do that with you all as well.
Thank you so much, Sade. Really appreciate hearing from you. Please, folks, show a little bit of love in the chat. All right, and next up, I am going to welcome Renee Romero, who is also a candidate for Assembly District 57.
Good to go. Hi, everyone. This is Renee Romero. I am running for California State Assembly 57. As you already know, this is majority of South Central Los Angeles and the southern portion of downtown LA. I'm running for a really personal reason. My family immigrated here from El Salvador. I had the privilege of being a US citizen. My family did not. Like my brother, like a lot of men of color, he got involved in gangs, did, in and out of our prison system. And unfortunately, after a short prison stint, he was deported back to El Salvador. And largely for a lot of people, deportation to Central America and El Salvador is a death sentence. Unfortunately, he was murdered out there. Last year, there was a bill called the Vision Act that was going through the California legislature. It would have stopped our prison system from working with ICE. And once you finish your prison sentence, you can reintegrate back into society. It failed by 3 votes. There were members that looked like me. They themselves had dealt with deportation. They could not be bothered to vote for this bill. Fundamentally, I am tired of the lack of the political courage to do the right thing for our communities. Sacramento has enough of that, and that is why I'm running to represent this district. This area is over-policed. Nowhere in all of LA are there more detainments than on Figueroa Street. Majority Black and brown folks are being pulled out of their cars, but they're not being arrested like their like their white counterparts. What that shows statistically is that people are just being harassed. Black and brown folks just being harassed by police officers, being pulled out of the cars, being put through really traumatic experiences, but finding out they're not bringing any rules or laws, just being harassed. We have to change that. The culture of over-policing, of harassment of our Black and brown community needs to come to an end. I'm hoping we can tell you more about myself and more about my platform as the campaign goes on, and I look to earning your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really excited to hear from you, Renee. Folks, please show a little bit of love. All right, and last but not least, for Assembly District 57, we have Ms. Dulce Velasquez, or I'm sorry, Dulce Vasquez, my apologies.
No worries, Tana. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Dulce Vasquez. Today, so first off, thank you for the opportunity and thank you to all of the candidates. You are clearly seeing some really incredible talent coming out of AD 57. So you're going to end up hopefully with a very, very talented assembly member from amongst these candidates. Today's actually my 30-year anniversary of migrating to the US. I came here just like Genesis at age 7. My dad was a dairy farmer. My mom cleaned houses. We were on food stamps, not because me as a kid, undocumented, because my brother was born here. So we were eligible for food stamps. I was motivated to get involved politically a little bit prior to the 2020 pandemic, but the 2020 pandemic really sort of spurred me to action to see that no matter how much money that you pour into a problem, how it gets distributed is about municipal leadership, about creativity, and about prioritizing the people that really matter. One of the things that really sort of took me aback was that mixed status families weren't eligible to get stimulus checks. Then of course came the protests, and that really got me involved. So I ran for city council in 2022 and was not successful, but we established a really incredible campaign that prioritized housing and economic justice and racial justice and policing. And I think this organization is particularly special to me because I see so much overlap in the things that we prioritize. You know, this is a district that has Newton Station. This is a district that is adjacent to our police unions. This is a district that really suffers from all of the ailments of incarceration, housing, and more. So I look forward to telling you more as the campaign progresses. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And again, thanks to all the candidates from AD 57. Y'all are all so amazing and graceful showing up for one another. Next, we have Constantine Anthony, who is running for Board of Supervisors District 5, but I think Constantine himself was not able to attend, and I believe there was a member of staff who was going to attend, and I'm not sure if I got that name. So
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not staff, but I do support Constantine.
Okay.
So my name is Raquel Derfler. So he prepared his statement, which I'm going to read to y'all. So he says, "Good evening, fellow abolitionists. I am currently sitting on the DS at the Burbank City Council, trying my hardest to pass rent control and tenant protections. In my stead tonight is Raquel Derfler, a longtime activist in the Antelope Valley who is fighting to remove sheriff's deputies from our school district, and I fully support her and the efforts of Cancel the Contract AD. In 2020, I ran as a defund the police candidate and ended up breaking the record for most votes in Burbank City Council history. Since being elected, our police department has been lowered from 33% of our discretionary budget to 28%, which today would be counted as a $6 million reduction. I have consistently voted against excessive police funding and all military equipment, including the most recent contract for our police helicopter. As county supervisor, I will agendize the closing of Men's Central Jail on my first day in office. I have also been in talks with dozens of other mayors and council members throughout the district to cancel their contracts with the sheriff's department and create their own municipal law enforcement with local oversight and stricter progressive policies far beyond the current policies of LASD. I'm running against an opponent who is publicly endorsed by the ALADs, and flipping the seat would change it from the most conservative to the most progressive. Please sign up to volunteer at ConstantineAnthony.com, and I look forward to ending mass incarceration in LA County. Thank you. And I forgot to tell you, District 5 is kind of large. So it's all the way from Pasadena, all the way north up to where I am in the Antelope Valley. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and very grateful that Constantine was able to send somebody to read a statement, even though he wasn't able to be here himself. So again, thank you. All right, last but not least, we are going to hear from Jillian Burgos, who is running for Los Angeles City Council District 2.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Jillian Burgos, and I am a proud Afro-Latina, lifelong renter, neighborhood council member. And I am running for Los Angeles City Council District 2, which is North Hollywood, Toluca Lake, Valley Village, Valley Glen, a small part of Studio City and Van Nuys, and a little part of Sun Valley. So I'm not a politician, but I'm a small business owner and essential worker, and I was called to lead. Death of my cousin from a perfect storm of socioeconomic classism really catapulted me. She was my rock, and she helped me through the journey of getting my mom diagnosed with Alzheimer's. My cousin Lala took my mom to doctor's appointments, helped me move her into a skilled nursing facility, and was there anytime I needed her. I didn't know that that was going to be my last few months with Lala in 2019. She lived in low-income housing, and it was barricaded due to being deemed a rampant crime area. So her home also had black mold, which made Lala, a severe asthmatic, have a medical episode. And sadly, the ambulance couldn't get to her on time. So at age 39, she died and left 3 beautiful children motherless. No family should have to lose their rock. So I decided to dedicate my life to socioeconomic equity for all. I want to change zoning laws to create safe and affordable housing, expand renter protection, get rid of the Ellis Act, hold predatory landlords responsible, and stop harmful sweeps on our unhoused neighbors, and get them on a true pathway to housing with wraparound services that treat people like people, not problems. So my journey took me to running for the NoHo Neighborhood Council, and my greatest joy has been creating workshops for tenants to help give them renter protections and let them know their rights, and also to give our unhoused neighbors grants that have helped feed them for the past 6 months and to help their pets have veterinary care. I've worked with groups like LA Forward to fight for unarmed crisis response, and my work is just beginning. I'm the only woman in the race and the only true grassroots candidate. I'm excited to elevate the voices of people in CD2, and thank you so much for having me. I'm Jillian Burgos, again, running for Los Angeles City Council District 2.
Thank you so much. Folks, please give Jillian a round of applause, and thank all of the candidates who showed up this evening. I'm very excited to say that, yeah, we had 11 candidates who made it out this evening to come and, talk to folks who are mostly people who are formerly incarcerated or with incarcerated loved ones. So yes, huge shout out, lots of gratitude to everybody who took the time out of your busy campaign schedules to talk to our members and supporters this evening. I think I was kind of paying attention to the chat, but it looks like the candidates had the opportunity to drop their campaign websites in there. I think I saw a couple of folks interacting saying like, hey, I'm in your district. So really exciting to see those connections happen. We hope to do more of these in the future. So we hope to invite people. I know that this was pretty much like a really LA heavy forum today. It just so happens that, most of our staff is in LA. So these are most of the connections that we were able to make. But for our members and supporters who are in other areas, if you know candidates who are running for office in your area, please get us connected with them. And we'd be happy to do some more of these forums in the future. And yeah, again, I just want to reiterate like how impactful it is that people who are closest to the problem, who are directly impacted by the harms that mass incarceration has caused. We heard a lot of candidates share their personal stories, their experiences with the carceral system on a personal level, the work that they've done to address these issues on a professional level. And it's very important that we have folks in office who understand these issues. So once again, thank you, candidates, for being here. We're going to go ahead and wrap up our meeting. You're welcome to stay to the end. It's up to you. Candidates, you are also welcome to become a member of Initiate Justice Action. There's at least one candidate here who's already a member. So, please stay involved with our work. Follow us on social media so that we can stay connected. And yeah, good luck, everybody. Good luck with the arduous journey that you have ahead of you. And that being said, Jay, I think I'll pass it back to you.
Thanks, Taina. And I want to say, first and foremost, thank you to all the candidates for being so personable and for taking the time to be responsive and emails and just being regular people. It's so good to just interact with regular people who have great life experience and who want to be in these community spaces to interact with the people and hear our problems and work toward actionable solutions. So thank you all for that. And with that, I'll move to the close. So we have a couple action items here for our members that's on the call, as well as our allies, and also to the candidates. We ask that folks please choose membership. If you like these spaces and you want to be involved with the transformative work that we're doing here at IJ Action, uplifting the voices of those impacted by incarceration and reimagining what folks consider as justice, please fill out your IJ Action member application. I've already dropped that link in the chat. Also want to take time to plug that our member training for this month is organizing with the 501c4. As we know, in the past, most 501c4 organizations have been harmful organizations that's caused a lot of harm. And so we've transformed that power. We're using that tax bracket to help amplify the voices of those with our life experience. And this month, we're fortunate enough to have Abby Sotani, who is the executive director of ACLU NorCal, an amazing person who's knowledgeable and just a great soul to be around. He's going to be our guest facilitator for our training this month, which is August 17th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So I will drop that link in the chat here for folks who are members. If you have not already RSVP for a member training this month, please RSVP. If you're not yet a member, please fill out your membership application. And then I will also send you the link to member training for this month as well. And lastly, I would like to also remind folks that it's a lot easier to RSVP for these meetings right now in the moment because we get caught up with life and our children and everything else like that. I know right now my partner, she's, I don't know where she's at, but she just picked up the kids from school and she's hovering away from the house to keep my little toddler from running in here and jumping on my lap during this call, Papacito. But you know, we get caught up in life. So I say all that to say, please click these links now so that way you can be in the know. And if for any means, you know, you forget, then go ahead and tap in with me and I'll get you squared away with the links and we'll get you up to date. But it's a lot easier to RSVP now. So I want to drop the link in the chat right here to RSVP for our next general meeting, which will be September 12th from 6:30 to 7:30, same time slot. And yeah, we look forward to continue to grow this space, continue to have great conversations like we had today, and just engaging with folks who have similar life experiences and other folks who haven't had our life experiences, so that way we can show them what these life experiences is about. And we'd like to again thank you all for coming tonight and for being a part of this space. And with that, we'll allow everyone to have their night back.
Well, Jay, real quick, I just want to acknowledge that I see a lot of the candidates have been dropping not only their campaign websites, but also in-person events. So there's some meet and greets and things like that that look like they're happening in the next week or so. So, you know, maybe I'll stall a little bit. If y'all want to take the time to scroll up in the chat, go ahead and click on the links now, maybe bookmark them if it's something that you're interested in attending. But yeah, it looks like there are a couple opportunities to get to meet with folks in person over the next couple weeks. So, you know, please take folks up on those opportunities. Like right now is a really great time to get to know, you know, the potential people who will be leading us at the city, county, and state level. And you know, something that we always talk about at IJ Action is the importance of not only participating in the electoral process and voting, but also like building those ongoing relationships with people who are in elected office. Ultimately, when folks become elected, they're here to serve us, their constituents, and it's really important that we maintain those open lines of communication, and specifically that folks who are in positions of power hear from people who are directly impacted by incarceration. So, you know, please take a minute or so to check out the event opportunities in the chat. Hopefully folks here will attend those. But again, thank you to all of the candidates who made it out this evening. Thank you to all of our members and supporters who showed up as well. Yeah, please stay muted. Thank you. Yeah, again, thank you everybody for being here. With that, we will go ahead and wrap up. But good night. If you want to come off of mute and say thanks, good night. But thank you everybody for being here.
Night. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everyone.
Feel free to send me the events and I'll try to get them out to folks. Thank you, everyone.